looked at how this
to all the demands of this demonstration. But that is as far as it went, and thereafter hell was let loose. One thing that became clear as a consequence of that is that apparently there is more than meets the eye to the NSAS demonstration. It's clear to all and sundry that what the agitators were talking about has to do with the entire country, the way it's managed, especially the security apparatus. And we cannot claim to know better than quite a number of people who have gone through it before. And that is why we are happy today that a number of our eminent personalities in security matters are here to talk to us. Moving forward in our great country, one of the things that I think we need to do is to bring together people of experience. Many times, some of our people who are experienced in security matters retired without being tired and take away all the training that they've gone through over the years, and nobody is going back to them to ask questions. We think part of what we need to do as a country is to create a system where a number of these people can be brought back to come and tell us, to come and give us the benefit of our experience, especially since most of them were trained by the federal government of Nigeria. We are hoping that the lessons that we have learned the last few weeks is a lesson that will put us in a position to ensure that once and for all, our security apparatus can be properly handled in a way that never again are we going to go through this sort of thing again. So once again, very distinguished personalities on this Zoom meeting, you are most welcome.
Because of our discussion today, we shall look at some of the issues of police reform. But there are some salient questions that will be addressed by our participants today. One, how much has changed since the Police Reform Act, which was signed into law by His Excellency, Mr. President, on September 16, 2020? And what are the challenges facing the effective implementation of police reforms? How can the police service or the police force be further enabled to manage civil unrest in line with international best practices? Okay. Is a further reform of the police reform required? If so, in what areas? And what are the consequences of the derelict policing on the advancement of democracy in Nigeria? Finally, what are the roles of the people, the press, the political class, the elite, and other stakeholders in ensuring effective policing in furtherance of our democratic governance in Nigeria?
This address on this occasion of the Pola National Dialogue Series, the closest is such that he may not know it, or he's a man for whom I have so much respect. The topic for today may not be addressed comprehensively in 30 minutes. I have something to that effect to read, but speaking at simple from the mind, there really is a lot that I'm passionate about as far as the police is concerned. You have had cause to ask me in the past, why is your interest in police and security? I believe first and foremost that there will be no nation without security. Without the involvement of the governor, the local government chairman, and especially also the traditional rulers. When we were running something to assist the police, those were the most important things we considered. Because we got information as far back as then about the advent of what we now call Boko Haram, especially in the north. So when we set up the Police Reform Foundation, our first area of reaching out was to the emirs in the north and adopt them as the coordinators for security in their areas of play. I remember that as many as almost 50 to 100 of them were mobilized by the foundation vehicles, private jeep then, and the charge to do the following. Until the policing becomes the responsibility of the federal government, of the state government, of the local government chairman, and the traditional rulers, we may not be able to get our security and policing rights.
I purposely pointed out this one for us to know the enormity of the problem and the institution of the police force we are talking about. Training is the most important thing we have to hammer on. When we were in service, I remember when I was in Ogun State, we were not having SARS issues because we were able to, the governor then was able to take care of the personnel and the police operation in Lagos, in Ogun State. We were not having issues at all with SARS. Funding was not there from the federal government, but the state was alive to its responsibility to ensure that they have to ensure they maintain the security of the state command.
These three things cannot be achieved without reform. A rafter police force cannot elicit confidence or trust in the citizens. Same way, a government that does not reform her police force or modernize the standards of comfort cannot attract patriotism and professionalism in the police force. Now, what we are going through today is NSAS. And most of our viewers or most of our people don't even know the meaning of NSAS. NSAS, as my understanding, is a decentralized social movement and a series of mass protests against police brutalities in Nigeria. Now, social movement, NSAS, they are not only children of hard knocks, they are children of well-to-do. They are children who have been brutalized by the police. But in recent protests, our youth brought to the fore issues of police brutality, bribery, unprofessionalism. We cannot end SARS without understanding the problems bedeviling Nigerian police force. Police reform will work and give Nigeria a pride of place.
Look at the implication of the police reforms that have just recently been approved by His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, sometimes in September 2020. Of course, we know that the bill started way back in 2018 when the National Assembly brought it up. And sometimes in 2019, that is in around April, the Senate passed the bill. And then 2020 September, the President signed the bill. So let us look at the key aspects of the bill, what it entails. And let's look at the origin of the Nigerian police has been mentioned, but just as a summary, it's also a victim of amalgamation, just like the way Nigeria became amalgamated. The two different police bodies were brought under one umbrella, and by 1930 we got what is called the Nigerian police as we have it today. So the reform, in essence, has about 145 the reform has about 17 parts and then 145 sections. But the major ones I want to touch on is in terms of the service, establishing a service-oriented police force, establishment of a police force with guiding principles that will make it, a state-of-the-art police force, modernizing police force to receive a training in protecting the lives and properties of the citizens, then methods in terms of dealing with erring police officers, like setting up an authority that will deal with police officers who are seen to have used excessive powers and so on, and then the mandate of record keeping, i.e. that is in terms of having proper record keeping together with the magistrate court, to have the best practice in record keeping and to standardize the Nigerian police force. That's just the essence, make it an international world-class police force.